So, welcome to Football DNA. We're back.
We are back.
Back in the game. 4 games now, Premiership. We've seen...
Flying by, innit?
It's just, you know...
International break.
It's international break coming
Come
up.
on, England!
You know, we're obviously, which is going to be a bit boring, so we're probably not going to do a podcast on that,
Nations Cup.
I mean,
New format.
Yeah, new format. Okay.
What's not to get excited about?
Let's talk about. I don't know. We'll probably not do a podcast on why there's 8 City players not in international clubs,
Phil
not in their
Foden.
internationals. You know, because they were pulled out for injury. That's probably more exciting and interesting. Sterling being one.
Back injury.
But look, let's cover the games that we saw. So we got Arsenal, my boys. You know, wearing a shirt for the first time. I was going to wear it for the first podcast. I was going to wear it on the opening day of the season, and I thought, you know what? As soon as there's something good, news that I feel is good and positive, I'm going to wear the shirt. And this is the first time I wanted to wear the shirt. So why don't you ask me, Age, what's the good news?
Well, I'm dying to wear. I mean, you got the right size top.
Probably not. It's a bit small, but no, yeah. You know, Arsenal weekend, Cardiff. You know, they had
tough. Banana skin type fixture almost.
Yeah.
A very horrible side, really. Warnock and all that.
Yeah, I think, you know, last season or typically we would struggle against that type of side who play that kind of football.
Your horrible away record last year.
Yeah, and not just last year. I think over the years, ever since, you know, for the last probably as long as Wenger's been there, but certainly for many years we've struggled against a side who will play quite direct, quite physical, will definitely get the balls in the box. And have some big players to be up against, and we will always struggle against sides, whether it's at home or away.
Yeah.
So I don't think just because of last year. I think generally we've always struggled. So this is a sort of fixture, not because it's Emery's Arsenal. This is the sort of fixture we are always going to be thinking, this is a bit of a banana skin here because we're going to struggle. But you know, just moving on to the game, I think, you know, before the game started, big news: Aubameyang, Lacazette. Now it wasn't on paper a 2 up top. It definitely, if you watch the game, Aubameyang was pushed out wide, whichever we knew that would happen, and Lacazette would play the number 9 role or play the main striker, which is obvious because that's his more natural position. But it was just great that that's happened. I was excited before we kicked off. As soon as I got a little notification on my phone, it said team lineups announced on Sky. Every week I'm checking it, and I'm like, for the first time I was excited because I was like, great, he's in.
You've been banging a drum about them both starting, haven't you, for ages now?
Because I think these two boys are probably 2 of the best strikers in the Premier League. There's no way that any one of those can sit in the bench. It doesn't matter who they're at. If Aubameyang's at United, he's got to play.
Yeah.
Right. If Aubameyang's at any club, he's got to play. If Lacazette's at any club, he's got to play. They can't be sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
They're not those sort of players. They're too good.
And also, with the way Arsenal are currently, it's like, I mean, if they had players who are and a team structure that was like, okay, we've got such good players that one of them has to stay, because that is possible. But I think that this Arsenal team at this point in time, I don't think they're good enough to leave a Lacazette on the bench or Aubameyang on the bench.
I think I said it last week, where, you know, we don't have 18 strong players. You know, you look at the teams who are going to challenge for the Premier League, which is mainly Liverpool, City. But even if you look at the Chelsea, the United, Tottenham, these guys have got 18 pretty good players. And I know people saying about United, but they, as an 18 squad, I know the squads are bigger than that, but they've got a good 18 players.
Players like Rashford that can't get near the squad, Martial, can't get in the team. Exactly. So it's like they've got players who would walk into many a team.
Yeah, so exactly. So I just think, but we don't have that luxury. We 100% do not have 18 strong players. We've barely got, if anything, 11 good players. But also the other thing that was interesting about the lineup was that he played Ramsey, not just because it's Cardiff, but he played Ramsey, he played Ozil, and I was like, that's, for me, the team he played, and Iwobi happened to apparently have a cold, so he was out of the squad. But that lineup was actually, in my opinion, our best lineup that I've seen. That's our best.
Torreira on the bench before the game.
Well, Torreira was on the bench, but to me, he's not. I've not seen him to say.
He's still getting, because
I've not seen him enough to say you're good enough to be in the team. I can't say you're in our best team. So maybe the glimpses I've seen, I think he's better than Xhaka. He came on again and he looked half decent. But on paper, before it starts, I'm thinking, hang on, this is our best 11 based on what I know. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Xhaka is good enough. He's to me a weak link, so I definitely want him out. And the young boy again, the French guy, he played quite well, and he's proven that it's just things like his passing rate's better. He's busy. He's around the pitch. He's in the right place at the right time. Xhaka's just as per usual, but I don't want to go into that and
get away from the negative side.
Yeah, I want to get away from that. But back to Lacazette and Aubameyang. You know what was great was there was some link-up play. There was a couple of absolute brilliant little interchanges where they sort of connected together. But more importantly, I didn't really care about that. That one ball got fizzed into Lacazette with below the pace, and he actually, with class, laid it off first time. A right little nice little tidy 10 yards inside into Aubameyang's path, and you're just like, that's class.
That's quality, isn't it?
And it's not...
Can't teach that kind of touch and technique there.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff, I don't really care because it's not about the interplay. I know sometimes we see other teams and they have this good exchange. I just want the best players on the pitch. And what I was really pleased about was in the end, it didn't matter what happened, Aubameyang scores a goal from 22 yards. It's not even really a full chance, but for a good player... It is half a chance to pick the ball up, get it out his feet. Yeah. And all he did is he got the ball, he got it out his feet and stole half a yard off the defender. And good players will put that in the back of the net from that distance. And he did. Yeah. Right? So, again, for a good player... lovely hit. Yeah, so for a good player, that's a good chance. You know, like once he gets
opportunities, I can hit this one.
Once he creates half a yard, you're sort of... If that's Sergio Aguero, if that's Mane, or if that's Salah, you're thinking he's going to put that in the back, stuff that home. And he did. Yeah. So, great finish from Aubameyang. And unrelated, obviously, it wasn't even where they linked up, but unrelated, Lacazette, he was showing loads of promise. He had a good strike early in the first half, he hit the post, but he's just busy. He looks like he's constantly around doing stuff.
Sniff goals out, can't he?
And he just makes me think of Ian Wright. He just sort of like, it's almost like you can just tell he's got to score. And what I liked about him was that he doesn't get his head down. You know, he's not been in the team. This is his first start. Right, he's in every game he's played so far. He's like he wants to show the manager, you need to pick me. Right, it's a great attitude. And in this game, I was like, if anyone scores, please. Before it even started, I was like, please let Lacazette score.
Let it be Lacazette.
And then his goal was absolute top boy. It was like top for me. It was like top finish. Like if Sergio Aguero did it, Mane did it, Salah did it, you'd be like, that's top boy finish.
Yeah.
And
I loved it near post.
And you just sort of think he got that chance, although it's in a bit of an angle, and he absolutely smashed it home with real intent and real purpose. And I just thought, do you know what, he won, and it was the winner. So I thought, couldn't write the script any better. Lacazette starts, gets the winning goal. As far as I'm concerned,
he's justified. I remember him saying during the week, he's willing to fight for his place. He knows that he's at that big club. He knows that it's a new dawn, a manager trying to teach them all, like children almost, a new system, a new way of playing. And I love that here when players are honest about their current situation, not like beating his chest saying, oh, I should be playing. He's like, no, actually, I've got to earn the trust of the manager. And I think, Emery would have really looked at him and thought, you know what, I like that kind of attitude you got. Give him his chance, and he's taken it. He's like, okay, maybe you are the one to start now. So it's a great win for Arsenal. I personally thought that could have been a slip up there because Cardiff, I know, a jury result. They haven't won yet. And I'm thinking, great
at home.
They've got the big boys coming.
Arsenal, they're going to trouble them. They're going to get them.
And they did, didn't they?
They did.
They came back twice. And, they looked like maybe they could have nicked a point.
They had goals in them. Really, they were quite clinical and they were dangerous. I think Arsenal, from Arsenal's point of view, you sort of feel sometimes it feels a bit soft, but you got to give Cardiff credit.
You do. Sometimes you've got to give the opposition credit because, at the end of the day, they are at home. They have got the whole stadium in their back pocket, and they're like, urging them on. They're back in the Premier League after God knows how long. They're going to come for it, and there's no shame to concede goals against the likes of Cardiff. I mean, against any club away from home to concede a goal or two.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like, oh my God, your defence is rubbish. Like, no, actually, give credit to the opposition.
I think what they were saying after the game, and I wasn't thinking this at the time, like people were saying that away from home, this is a good result in not just winning, but also in the manner in which how the game was played. Because I think Lacazette was saying it. He was saying that last season they were, struggling. They didn't actually. They played away from home and they just didn't perform at all. So for them, it wasn't just even a result. They actually produced a performance of a certain level. So don't get me wrong, that wasn't sustained for 90 minutes. They weren't playing amazing for 90 minutes. I just think that what he was trying to say is that they performed reasonably well in comparison to last year where they just didn't turn up.
Yeah, exactly.
And they had games they just didn't turn up
away from home.
at all. And what he said, it felt like they were at home because the way they played was the way they played at home. And he was like, look, and it was almost like they believed, well, we can do this away from home. It's not, we don't have to be at home. We can do it, but
we can still settle into our pace and play the way we need to play and such.
Exactly. And I think the only other point I'll say is that Emery, you know, he's come to the Premier League. He doesn't speak perfect English. He's obviously, that's going to be a challenge for him. And I'm not his biggest critic. I'm just dubious of.
Give him a chance.
Yeah, you've got to give him a chance. I'm just dubious of anyone or any manager now. You know, like we're seeing at United. But I'm just dubious of this whole. I've got a philosophy. I want to play like this, and you know, we saw it again in this game. I mean, Cech made about 3 or 4 mistakes. All went unpunished. But however, to give Cech credit, not to go off the point, but to give Cech credit, his head doesn't go down and it doesn't appear to affect his game. Yeah. So even though he made in a couple of bloomers, he just carried on and it didn't affect him. Like because he's so experienced, although he made the mistake, it didn't bother him. Honestly, at the time he's thinking, I know he's thinking bollocks, and when he made the first mistake, he sort of patted his chest and he was like, "It's my fault, sorry lads." But as soon as the ball 30 seconds later got passed back to him, which it did, he didn't panic. He played it nicely and he dealt with it. So I'll give him credit. But my only thing is with the manager is that can we play? You know, we're seeing Lacazette. He's come off the bench or he's started now. But you know, I want him to play our best players. And when you're trying to find your feet, if you're a new manager, I know again. I don't want to keep saying when I've managed football teams, but when you don't know the players so well, you can only it's like you can only see 6 inches in front of your face, right? You don't have the insight and the vision to these players. You can't see their potential and how far ahead into the future. You don't have that kind of vision because it takes time to understand the players you've got.
To work,
right? So all you do is you go into training. You've only been with them for a few weeks. What you see is instant. These are the good players. Right?
Yeah.
This guy's good, this guy's good, this guy, I have to put them together.
And also, you haven't got time to see much more than your immediate, 11 to 14. Exactly. You just haven't got time. You need to do it now.
It takes time to get to that point where you go, I'm going to play him on the left wing.
Yeah.
That guy can play on the left wing. You don't turn up on one training session and stick a centre midfielder in left wing or stick the young boy from the reserves into the first team. That doesn't happen.
No.
What it does, it takes time to get that kind of vision as the manager. So, but what I liked is that he the whole Ozil situation, he dropped him. He's back in the team now. Ozil definitely performed better against Cardiff. You know, Ozil was one of the biggest culprits last season for not turning up.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think Ozil had a great game, but he certainly performed better at a better level than I've seen him play this season. And he's back in the team. Maybe if Iwobi wasn't injured, I don't know if or not had a cold. I don't know if Ozil would have got in the team. I don't know because as Iwobi had a cold, it kind of the team picked itself, so the manager didn't have to make that difficult choice. But anyway, you know, it was almost like, I'm not saying the fans' pressure of the whole Ozil situation and the fans' pressure of Lacazette, but I almost sort of get that sense that the manager's not stupid. I remember Wenger would go 20 games and they'd almost be protesting to get him out before he actually did what the fans were saying.
Yeah, everyone else could see.
Yeah.
It's like he could never see.
And exactly. I'm not saying the manager should do what the fans say. But sometimes it's so goddamn obvious.
I think when everyone's saying it.
It's even the pundits.
Everyone's saying it. And they're not just saying it once a week. They're saying it
it's just that's all they're talking
10
about.
weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I think you need to take notice. And I think, to Emery's credit, he hasn't. I would say as well, when I heard that you guys were getting Emery as a coach, Emery as a coach, I said to myself, he's a winner because he is a winner. He has actually gone to Seville and he won the Super Cup. I think he won it 3 times in a row with them or twice, which is no mean feat. Not Super Cup, Europa League. Yeah, that's quality. That's brilliant. Then obviously he's gone and won with Paris Saint-Germain. All right, you could talk about the French league not being up to par, but he still won the league. Give him credit. So he's managed really big players. Like, doesn't get much bigger than Neymar. He's managed Neymar and got a tune out of him to a degree. It wasn't really. Could have done better in the Champions League. That's another story. But this is a manager who knows his way around European football. And I think coming to a place like Arsenal at this time, with a guy who's sort of had his experiences, it could be a really good fit. And I'm looking at it thinking, even the signing of like Guendouzi in the midfield, an unknown quantity by anyone's football knowledge, I'd say.
Someone scouted him.
Some brilliant scout
scouted him.
And in fact, he put him in the team, and my God, he's done the business. Done. He's a young lad, and I watch him, and I think, I love his energy.
Yeah, I know.
His energy's brilliant, and like when he gets on the ball, he's got pictures in his mind already.
Yeah.
And because when you're a 19-year-old playing central midfield, you better have pictures in your mind, or otherwise you ain't getting near the game.
He's made the odd mistake, but I just think like no more than anyone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if anything, he stood out as being one of the stronger players.
Yeah.
So I think it's the goods massively outweighed any of the bad he's done. I mean, he has made a few little mistakes, but that would be really highly critical. But for such a young player to be playing at a big club in the team, one of the complaints you get at Chelsea, you get it at City, you get it even at Liverpool. Maybe not at Liverpool, actually, that's probably a bit unfair. But certainly United and a couple of the big sides, young players don't get a chance. So I know we're not talking about an academy player here. We've brought him in, but he's still a young player. And it doesn't matter where he's come from. He's getting a chance, and I think he got a chance on the opening day of the season. He took it, didn't he, with both hands?
Yes.
And I think so far, even Cardiff, as far as I'm concerned, he's in the team next week. Now, my only fear with playing him every game would be he might burn out. And that's why I think he needs to start giving consideration to Torreira coming in. And I think he should just look at Xhaka. To me, Xhaka's going to get found out. I mean, again, Torreira, he came on and he just has more energy about him. He's definitely got better fitness, better body condition. He's got quicker. He's just got way more energy than Xhaka. Xhaka is like a lumbering dinosaur in a role that requires legs, and it's like he hasn't got them.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like watching a Tony Adams play centre midfield. He sort of runs around a bit slow.
Yeah.
And he's always a bit... After the event, he's there. He's not there at the time.
No, I hear you. I feel with Xhaka, it's he's carrying a lot of pressure on him. He knows he's still got lots to prove, and when the player is trying to make amends and he's constantly, you say, not quite there at the right time. Yeah. Pretty much a yellow card every other game, that kind of player. And it's like, what's he actually doing during the match? Is he passing well? Not really. Is he assisting? Not really. Is he making covering tackle positioning? Not quite there. But he's still in the team. And I think Emery knows exactly what's going on. And I think most importantly, to wrap up this Arsenal segment, is that Arsenal are winning matches, and that's at this point in the season. Yeah, I kid you not, and you know very well. There's 3 points.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Now. Get the 3 points now because things will get better. You will improve your team. Things will work out.
And to be fair, in all fairness to them, we were always probably going to lose those first two games.
Oh yeah.
In the golfing class between those two teams is stupid. And
not
don't
too far
get me wrong.
Chelsea, perhaps,
but the golfing class in comparison, we've got a new manager. That team on paper, I think you play us in 6 months' time. Not saying we're going to go and beat Chelsea and City, but I'm saying we'll give them a better game.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Because I think we'll be in a better place
away from home as well. Because obviously Chelsea had a new manager too.
But we'll just give them a better game because we'll know more where we're at. The team will be more settled. The players will be more comfortable with the system.
6 months down the line.
6 months down the line, halfway during the season, 20 games in, you'll be seeing this team will just get better. Right, I'm not saying they're going to get better to the point they're going to do anything special this year. They're not going to get, as far as I'm concerned, they've got absolutely no chance of getting that top four, as far as I'm concerned. They'd have to have this. If he got in the top four, that'd be like winning the Premier League, and I just can't see it happening.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to get to those heights.
I think
if he can get in the top six,
you've got teams that are just
like two more established.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I just think if he can get in the top six, for me, if he can get in the top six, I think that would be a good start. Right, get a transfer window like everyone keeps saying. He's got to bring someone in the transfer window because the quality of the squad is not good enough. Don't matter how we cut this up. If two of those players get injured, we're absolutely screwed. Yeah. God forbid Aubameyang and Lacazette both get injured, you'd be just in trouble straight away.
Yeah,
like, we just don't have the
that's
class.
Almost a worry for the manager why he hasn't played them. I think he's thinking, I need to keep these guys sort of like
possibly.
I can't be burning them both out because I need some maybe a go-to guy. I think having Lacazette on the bench. I know it's been a bit frustrating for you. I totally understand. But having Lacazette on the bench is like an option that he wouldn't have with them both on the pitch. I know it sounds really simple, but sometimes you need that bench guy that's like, the other team's like, oh, he's on the... you know what I mean? Because if you've got nothing on the bench sometimes, it's like you haven't got an option. If you haven't got an option, possession in football, that's a dangerous game sometimes. You know what I mean?
But then I think I sort of see it like, look, the Premier, you've got to get as many points as you can when you can get them.
Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, what you end up, you're in danger of playing weakened sides, dropping points when you've got the players to get the points. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. The fans, the board, everybody will understand if they drop points and the players are out injured. Yeah. Because all it'll prove is the strength and quality in that squad is not there. You need to get more players in, and it'll be a message to the board going, you need more investment in this squad because you need to bring in some good players. There's not enough of them. Now, everyone will accept that, even if we ended up coming 10th and we had 2 or 3 key injuries. But up until those things happened, we were looking good. Everyone would accept, look, the squad ain't good enough. You've got to give the manager a chance, and he needs a couple of windows to get some good players in, which is January and next summer. And then next season would sort of go, right, you've had a couple when you first came, you've had 2 or 3 more now. All right, I'm not saying that's it, 2 windows and you're done, or 3 windows and that's your lot. But next season, in a year's time, we're expecting much better. We're expecting more, from wherever we are this season expecting. So, and I don't think that season will necessarily get in the top 4.
Yes.
I think that'll still be a big ask. But we'll be closer to pushing to get in the top 4 than whatever we're doing this year, because we've strengthened the squad, right? So I just think if you've got the players now, you've got to play them. You can't play in the hope that you might get, or you can't be fearful of injury. Lacazette pulled up at one point, and he went down, he was holding his leg, and it was like in the first half, early in the game, I was thinking, don't tell me he's pulled his hamstring, because that's what I was thinking. He hasn't been playing, and that's the other thing, you don't play, you're sometimes more at risk of fucking injury, because you're not bloody playing.
It's true.
And then you play, and you've got to run really hard, and then your body condition ain't right.
You can't take it, can you? You're just shut down.
We see it all the time with players on the bench, they come off, I'm injured again. And so anyway, but yeah, I think that's it. I mean, but good signs for Arsenal. I think it's a great step forward, but in a short time, Emery seems to be listening, and I think he's a bit smarter than people think.
Yeah, I think he is.
He's a bit smart. I think he is a good manager. I think he's smarter, and I think that might be a little difference he has than Wenger. Wenger just didn't listen to others. I don't feel that he did, and I think this guy is a bit more. I mean, all the players saying. I was watching an interview. Just to wrap up, I was watching an interview with Ramsey before the game, or the day before they interviewed him, and he was saying they were asking him what's it like. They weren't trying to ask him to compare him to Wenger, but they said what can you say about him that's different? Not trying to say what's better. They just want to know what. And he said, and Lacazette I heard say it another time as well. So a couple of players have said this, that he pays 100%. These are the words they're using. More attention to the opposition. Right, and we all know Wenger did not pay attention to the opposition. That was one of Wenger's biggest flaws. He didn't care who he was playing. He just fixated on Arsenal. Now, he was successful in many ways doing that. But they're saying this manager pays attention to the opposition. And his attention to detail is high. In terms of who they're playing, how they play. Right, so that is something massively that was missing at Arsenal. So that one thing alone means that he's brought in this quality that wasn't there, in my mind. Yeah. So when we play City or when we play Liverpool, he's given a lot of consideration to how they play, to how then we've got to try and stop them,
counter them,
and how we are going to try and get at them when we can. So that and the players are trying to understand that, and they're all like, that's why they're all like, we're learning like kids, because they're having to learn that because they never did that with Wenger. Wenger just fixated on how Arsenal played and just practiced that. And that's fine, but as soon as you have pressure and stress and you have problems because it's not working, what do? Well, we don't know what to do.
Yeah, we didn't know anything about them, boss.
We didn't know we were playing.
We didn't know that they had that dangerous left back.
We don't know. We haven't really talked about it. No. Who's picking up who, because no one spoke about it. We just fucking concentrate on our attacking corners, not our defending ones.
No, exactly.
So
it's those simple things.
But anyway, interesting times. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But for the first time after 4 games, I feel a little bit of hope. So I think that's cool. So anyway, let's move on because we've got some other things to talk about with Liverpool, I think. I don't know. Have we got stuff to talk about with Liverpool? Let's see. Maybe we do.
I think we've got plenty to talk about.
Maybe we do got stuff to talk about Liverpool. Let's start with... Well, yeah.
I mean, it's not a big deal because we won. He made a mistake. I mean, and it's funny because I'm watching that game thinking to myself, we're 2 up against Leicester. They're a pretty decent team at home, but by and large, we were coasting actually. 2-0 up. 2-0 is a dangerous lead, as they say, don't they? And we weren't really doing anything wrong. Leicester were trying to pressure us, but ball goes back to him.
Yeah,
Allison, and he had a little bit too much time. And off the back of that incredible piece of skill last week on the Brighton player, where he's knocked over his head with one,
he's probably just
incredulous touch. I think you start to believe your own hype a little bit, and then people are expecting you to do something. You're expecting yourself to do something. You almost feel like, I better do something because remember they all know I'm good. And I think he had that in his head. And he had 2 opportunities.
Was it Iniacho? What's his name?
Iniacho, the ex-City boy. And he had 2 chances to clear it, right? Like 2 touches where he could have cleared it. And he's ended up, everyone's seen what he's done. And it was one of those ones when you're watching it as a fan going, don't try and turn him here. Don't try and do that. Because I can see you thinking it. I can see him thinking. And obviously, it leads to the goal. But by and large, the best thing I can say is that it didn't matter. And 99 times out of 100, when Liverpool's previous away kind of matches, that would have mattered, and that would have shook us to the core. We probably would have gone on to drop points in that game. Like 2-0 up, maybe 2-2. Maybe they would have even turned it around and won it, because they've got that kind of power, haven't they, Leicester? I mean, they've got that kind of like force of the fans where they kind of get on top and shake the shit out of you, and then they can do it there because they're that kind of team. When they get there, in any club, that kind of like tail up kind of business. Give him a goal and he'll get behind the keeper. Every time the ball goes back to the keeper, he's getting that kind of harangued by the crowd. And I tell you, after that, Allison was really good. He kicked every ball away. He didn't mess about.
But then is that not just like what I was saying before? Well, actually, I don't know, about Czech. Is that these are experienced top players, and. He's a top player, so he makes a mistake. He's not 18. He's an experienced player, and that's what you've paid for. So he's not gonna be fazed by the mistake. He's gonna be disappointed. Of course, like Czech was disappointed. He's disappointed. No one's gonna be more disappointed than him.
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
one. As much as anyone else might be. Trust me, he'll be still disappointed as we're sitting here talking about it. He'll still be hating him for it and digging it and beating himself up over it. So no one will be more disappointed than him. But he just got on with it. So and that wasn't a surprise because he's a top player. So I don't think I'd give him, like I said, but you do have to acknowledge it, like I was with Czech. You can't just take it for granted.
No, you can't.
You've got to still acknowledge it as it and credit them.
Yeah,
don't you?
I think more to the point you just made. It's like he could have avoided that. It wasn't like a shot that it's like no. I would be more concerned if it was something like a shot that fumbled through his hands and went in the back of the net, or he's gone for a couple crosses and dropped it and it's gone in the back of the net. Those are like sort of ones that bread and butter. You've made a really straightforward save, difficult, and you've conceded a goal. Those are the ones which kill your confidence totally, I think.
Yeah.
But with those, like, he could have avoided that. So it's like he put himself in trouble there. Do you know what I mean? So I think you sort of step away from that, separate yourself from the mistake. But yeah, I mean, we know he's got this great ability. So yeah, like they say, sooner or later, you may get caught out.
Yeah, I just thought, like, if you look at it technically, obviously we're not watching it now, and in future we might have a little replay of it, but we haven't at the moment. But anyway, when the ball comes, and the ball comes from the left hand side, and he lets it run across his body, and he fakes the shot or the long kick. But what's weird is it's like the Leicester player was coming from the left hand side to close him down. So what I found was strange was that it wasn't that he just got robbed. The execution of the turn was poor. He sort of was a bit clumsy and he got caught up in his foot. But even if he turned sharp and executed the turn, which he didn't, but if he did, he still would have got robbed. Because it wasn't on. Yeah. Because the player was the wrong side.
Yeah, it wasn't like...
So it was like the player was on the side. He was turning into the side the player was coming from, almost. Now, don't get me wrong, he was faking to go that way. And I'm not saying he can't turn towards the player, but he happens to be turning probably the quickest player on the pitch. One
of the quickest. He's pretty
certainly
quick,
their quickest player.
Yeah.
And I just think he chose the wrong player to turn. And I just think maybe Allison hasn't studied the players enough to know who he's up against. Now, the other day, who was saying... I can't remember now, but they were talking about Alan Shearer, and he was saying, I think it was Robbie Savage, and he was saying that Alan Shearer, right, and this just give you an example. Alan Shearer used to prey on the weakest defender, right? And when you're a striker or defender, especially a striker, you have to exploit the weakness. So if there was two centre halves and one was a real tough nut, because Alan Shearer was a tough nut, Alan Shearer was purposely prey on the other one because he knows he can outmuscle the other one, but he can't fight this one. So he would target this other one to get in and around him and win stuff off him. And because once you're a striker and I stand next to you, you can't just keep swapping. You have to end up picking me up half the time. Sure. So you're sort of, the striker dictates almost who marks him. You can't just man mark him.
No.
If he goes your side, you've got to pick him up.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what happens. So the same way, but Alan Shearer would only know that by knowing the players, right? Alisson's not been in the Premier League. So I question how well does he know the opposition players.
Absolutely.
And I'm wondering, given Iniesta's such a quick player, he's happened to try and turn the fastest player. And even if he fooled him, fast players can turn back quickly. I've seen Kyle Walker get turned inside out, and he's back at them within half a second.
Yeah, you don't get no change out of it.
Yeah, even if you turn the bastard, he comes back at you in about a second. He's on you.
Yeah.
And this is so he executed it badly. I think he done it on the wrong player. But at the same time, I'm putting all that aside. I just think, do you know what? If someone made a mistake at the other end of the pitch, we wouldn't even be talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he made a mistake. It doesn't matter that he scored a goal. Defenders make mistakes.
Yeah, I agree.
Defenders make mistakes and they score goals. If a goalie makes a mistake, the reason why it's a steward's inquiry or we've all got an opinion and we all sit here and talk about it is because when a goalkeeper makes a mistake, it always nearly results in a goal.
And I think in this case, the keeper being such a technical player, that it's like, and we saw what he done last week, and it's like we're almost obliged to dig him out because it's like, okay, now you've done that. Everyone's waiting for you to make a mistake, and also all these strikers are looking and say, "You ain't doing me like that." They know what you ain't mugging me off like you mugged off that Brighton boy. You know what I mean? And that's almost like, okay, so maybe he needs to be thinking about. I think that the rest moment.
And the rest of the players might be thinking, we know what you're going to try. Yeah. So I'm always expecting you to try and turn me on this. And I'm half thinking I'm going to close you down, but you're going to try some shit. Yeah. And in my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to be on it. I'm half thinking you're going to do it. So I might pretend to close you down, but I'm almost thinking I'm waiting for you to turn me and do something or just not kick the ball. Whether you touch it, turn, doesn't matter where you go, but you're not going to kick it long. No. And the second, we've seen it before, even goalies where they don't kick it, but they don't necessarily turn inside, but they take a touch. Yeah. And guess what? By the time they get to take their second touch, they get robbed because these attackers are so fast. Yeah. So I just think, you know,
I mean, he may have made a rod off his own back with that moment. Although how beautiful it was against Brighton, I loved it. I thought it was like the most immense piece of goalkeeping I've seen in the Premier League history almost. It was so good.
It was.
I don't think I've seen anything like it.
It was.
But off the back of that, it's like people are out to get you. They know what you're capable of. Yeah. So now you cannot be doing that. Yeah. You know.
But I think, look, you know, Michael Owen said the other day, Michael Owen said the other day that he always believed that he never judged himself on how many goals he scored. He, in his own head, judged himself on him getting into positions to score the goals. And if he got in the right positions to score the goals, whether he scored or not, he judged himself on that performance based on getting in the position. So if he missed 5 chances, he saw that as he had a good game because he got himself into the position to score, which in his view was the hard bit. Yeah. Right? Now that was his own inner belief. It wasn't the way the world judged him. Yeah. It wasn't the way his manager judged him necessarily, but it was the way he judged himself. Now, if you think of a goalie, we tend to judge them on clean sheets. We just have this thing, don't we? It's like strikers. We tend to go, how many goals did you score?
Yeah, sure.
I don't care if you play for Leicester. I don't care if you play for Brighton. Did you get 25 goals? Well, you're not that good. Yeah. You know, you're striker, you scored 12 goals. That's not very good for a striker. You know, we sort of have this attitude, don't we? Same with goalkeepers, clean sheets. So a goalie could go for a whole game, save 10 really good saves, come out for crosses, you know, some real good quality goalkeepers, some great distribution, you know, etc., etc. Make one mistake, he's had a bad game, we've conceded. And the second you concede, all that good work, we just throw it out the pan, you know, and now we're talking about this one mistake when he played actually for another 89 minutes. Yeah. And actually he was quite good again. And do you know what? On the mistake, he was so close to saving it, right? And I thought if he saved it, that would be one of the fucking saves of the season. Right? He actually so good he nearly got back and saved it, right? Yeah. But we won't talk about that because he made a mistake. But all I'm saying is he's made one mistake. I don't really care. I wouldn't be, and I know the manager. Right? He didn't buy a £70 million player to start telling a £70 million player how to fucking play. You don't buy Ozil and start telling him how to make runs,
sure,
and how to play passes and how the pitches and how the all you do is you put him in a system. And it's the same with Liverpool. They're not going to start telling them how to fucking goal kick. They're going to say, no, this is how we want to play, and we're going to play out from the back, and that means giving you the ball a lot. He's not going to start saying to him every time you get the ball, kick it long, because he knows they didn't buy him for it. He bought him because he's good on his feet. He's going to take risks, and that's just the way it is.
And just touching on that bit, one of the things that was noted was that when the ball went back to the keeper, the back four didn't move accordingly to give him options, and that's because they're almost expecting him to do something.
Yeah. So maybe that's something to work on.
Point for all the back four to always give him options, so he can fake if he's going to fake somebody, that player needs to know that he actually might make a pass there, but he was isolated in that moment. So that's a thing that the whole team can learn, that always giving him option
and
at least.
If I look at Czech and what Arsenal were doing, because the manager wants them to play out from the back, and actually that's not necessarily an Allison problem. Now we'll all say you got the ball, you make the decision, but we saw it even with Arsenal in the other games. Czech refusing to kick it long, and that's obviously an instruction from the manager. So I think he's got the same instruction. That ball does not go long. I don't care, because if he tells the player, right, this is the problem when you give the player options. If you tell the player you can kick it long if you have to, what inadvertently happens is players tend to take that option as an easy option. What he wants to happen is goalkeeper gets the ball, options, we can play. Right, and if we don't have options when we give the goalie the ball, we need to solve that problem, right, because it's a problem. Now, he probably was hard done by because he didn't get the options on that occasion, but that's something they want to get better at. And I think he would rather solve the problem because he knows if we can crack and master that way of playing, that style, this is the way we're going to win a Premier League. So it's important we stick at it even if we disbelieve it. And that's probably why Emery, even at Arsenal, they say, look, I don't care, you might not be able to play with your feet, but we have to play like this because this is how we're going to win football matches. Right, this is how we're going to progress from where we're at to where we are. And we look at Liverpool, we look at Klopp, what he's done, and they've progressed from when he came into this style. They're not playing the way they're playing on day one. No. We were criticising Klopp just as much. In fact, his first season, we were slagging him. I was slagging him left, right and centre for some of the stuff I was seeing. But he had to have a system, I suppose, and he had to try and have this belief in how he wanted to play. And now we're starting to see a
couple transfer fruits, windows down the road.
We're starting to see fruits of that labour. We're starting to see it. So
I think for any Arsenal fan, it just goes to show bit of patience, bit of awareness, and it's amazing where you can go. And leads beautifully onto the backdrop here,
onto the two boys.
I mean, Mane, he is in the goals, 3 goals in 4 games. Salah hasn't started as well as. Well, maybe people anticipated this, to be fair. He had a remarkable season last year. Only 4 games in, he still scored 2 goals. Salah.
I think they're all off the mark. I think, don't be too critical. They're all off the mark, and all your offensive players have scored. So I think, and you've got to be happy with that. I don't know how many they've scored. We've only played 4 games.
No.
I think it's the level of performance. What really matters is the performance. The performance is like top draw. Like we're seeing like these guys. If this was a boxing match, these guys have come out swinging, like hard, like they're hitting big shots, like to the opposition. And that's what we're seeing. They're coming out with purpose. Like this is like the intent being shown by this Liverpool side on, to show City that we want the Premier League. Like we ain't fucking about this year. That's what I'm seeing. And I'm like, it don't matter. Even if they didn't get a result, I'm still seeing this intention. Like this, it's ramped up from last year. Whatever Liverpool were last year, this is the next level. I'm seeing the next level, and maybe it's just in their mind. Maybe now they believe they can do it. Maybe now they've got the players, but they certainly are playing with this extra level of intention.
I think it's belief. As we mentioned about in a previous show, the Champions League run was instrumental to these players believing in what Klopp is telling them they are, because Klopp has elevated them with his coaching and his his philosophy and such. But individually, these players have started to believe that they are as good as. In fact, they're better than what they thought. because you're looking at people like Roberto Firmino, who, a bit of a, who is this guy? What's he do? Is he forward? Is he a number 10? What's his story? And I think he's sort of making his own story in the way that he's.
I've never been his biggest fan.
Me neither.
I'm always sort of wondering, what's the deal with this guy? But
exactly, in last season, it's when.
But he pops up with his head. He pops up with his feet. He's here. He's there. He's linking up with people. And you're just like, I don't know what he really does, but he has an outcome. So again, it's performance. He produces stuff that gets results. So it's like his output is class. I don't know what his stats are last year, but all I do know is that I see many times last year where he either turned up with an assist, he turns up with a goal, or he was part of the move that's led to the goal, even if he wasn't playing the final ball. So his link-up play is good. And I'm seeing, like you say, he's not Mane. Mane and Salah have a bigger presence about them. They have a bigger, for me, they have a bit more of an aura. He's a bit more of an unsung hero. He goes about his business. He's not the guy that everyone's seeing and looking at, to produce the goods. But he's efficient. He's performing at a high level, and he's certainly maybe he's the link between those two.
I think he certainly is. Actually,
he's maybe the link. The other two in their own right are big players. They've got their own style. One's very powerful, the way he runs at people, the runs he makes. He can finish. Mane, he's got super strength. He's up and down. He's busy. Salah's very similar. He's up and down, he's here, he's left, he's right, he's in behind, he's coming short. He wants to shoot first time, he wants to dribble past the player. Mane's exactly the same. It's like half yard, 2 yards, dribble, stop dribbling, pass. Everything's quick, everything's like, it's quite, they mix it up quite a lot in terms of what they do.
Hard to anticipate what they're going to do.
And Firmino's like the guy, he's like the Ramsey, almost. He's like, I pull the strings a little bit. I play the little clever passes. I keep the ball moving nice. I try and support you. As you make the run, I try and come in and get it and be a support for the both of you. And he's making that kind of happen. And at times you see him get his goals, but he pops up all the time. Like last year, some of his goals, he pops up, score a header. And he's what? He just came from, he scores unusual goals as well. I've seen him score some goodies, but I see him score some unusual ones. And I'm sort of thinking, to be fair, he's turning up. But he's probably a little bit of an unsung hero. He's not, because Mane and Salah are such big players now.
Like you said, what they do with the ball, Salah and Mane
will carry
it for 20, 30 yards if they want to, or run at this extreme pace.
Very exciting when they get the ball.
Yeah, they're very
and they do
much
stuff, isn't it?
Yes.
And he's not. I'm not saying he's not exciting because he's got loads of skill and loads of flair, but he's just more unsung. He's a little bit. I think he's doing stuff, and it's not like what they're doing. And it just looks. He's not as flamboyant maybe as them, but I think he's just a bit of an unsung hero. But good. Like I say, when everyone talks about Liverpool, to be honest, as a neutral, I don't see Salah Mane. I see Salah Mane Firmino.
Yeah,
I see the three of them, and they very much come as a three. And Liverpool's offense is built on those three guys. Performing and playing well interchangeably, and he will, sometimes you see him go a bit longer than you expect. He doesn't always go long, but sometimes he does. But he just looks like he supports what they're doing.
Very tireless. He's that
got
type
good
of player.
Energy as well.
Yeah, his energy is incredible. He will stretch defences purely on, he doesn't mind running channels. He'll run channels all day.
Which is unusual for a Brazilian player.
Yeah, Brazilian.
It's unusual for a Brazilian player because you don't normally see that. This is the Premier League. It's one of the hardest physical leagues, demanding leagues in Europe, and probably the world. And for a player that you see a player who put in, 11k, 12k a match, at the higher end of what people are putting in on running, for a Brazilian offensive player, which typically in the past
they're not known for it, are they?
If we've had Brazilian offensive players in the Premier League, they're not doing the most running.
They're not known for it. The Brazilian striker, when it comes to mind, is someone who is going to, do, with all due respect, not call them lazy, but their finesse is
when
such.
He gets the ball, they'll come to light.
Yeah, but they're not going to be just doing doggies for the sake. They're not going to run channels off the ball, running unselfish.
They're not going to run into channels. No, they're not going to make second runs just to
help the teammate out, kind of thing. And I think this is the beauty of Firmino, that he has this sort of unselfish nature, which has got him where he is today. Because the journey of him, I won't give him his whole background, but he didn't come to prominence like some other Brazilian players, who had a star written all over them from day one. It wasn't like that for him. He had to really, really fight to get where he was. And Hoffenheim in Germany, and I remember his name was buzzing a little bit, but Hoffenheim, I know Bayern Munich, and he gets to move to Liverpool, and people look at him saying, "Oh, he's not bad, but he's no Roberto. He's no." Suarez, for example, who's
he
like
wasn't at that
archetypal
level.
South American.
But he was known. He was he was a sought after player.
Somewhat.
He wasn't an unknown player. He was a known. He was. I'm not saying Real Madrid were trying to sign him, but I'm saying a lot of clubs were probably wanting him.
Well, they were having a little glancing at him, weren't they?
He was one of the. He was on a lot of people's radar.
Yeah, fair play.
He was one of those, and he had been for a while. He wasn't like Barcelona were trying to sign him, but let's be honest,
he wasn't scoring enough goals to really attract the top side.
We can't say Barcelona, Man United, or Barcelona and Real Madrid, because to be honest, they only try and sign literally the top 3 players in the world.
Yeah.
So you can't. That bracket is tiny of who's in that bracket, but generally in the bracket below, which is 50 players, he's in it.
Yeah.
He's in the top European player that a lot of clubs are looking at as a top European player. In Europe, that could potentially go here, go there, and for a lot of big clubs. I'm not saying that all the clubs are trying to sign him, but he's on their radars. And
much more now than ever.
Yeah. Well, much more now, but even then, so they bought an established.
He didn't score a lot of goals.
No.
The thing, you talk about Brazilian strikers, forwards. You score goals. I mean,
you're not. I know. What
you score goals and you're top of you're a god, isn't you?
Top of the tree, food train.
Exactly. But he wasn't really. He was like a 1 in 4 kind of striker,
Yeah,
but had a lot of like.
Well, in this role, if he played up front, in my opinion, I just don't think that's his natural position to play up top as a striker. I wouldn't play him there at all. Maybe that's where he played.
False nine.
But in this system, it's all about getting the best out of players. And in this system, with the other players that are in this team, with the way they play, it obviously is complementing his own game, and he's finding his place, and he has found his place. Not just now; he found it last year. He has found his place, and that is his place. And unless someone's coming along that's going to take him off it, I don't see that, because as long as he performs as he is, and he's performing at the level which is enough to keep the shirt, keep himself in the team, and hopefully help Liverpool go on and be successful this year in the Premier League. So. But like I say, he's probably a bit of an unsung hero. Not going to get the headlines. Probably deserves a bit of headlines, every now and then. And it's nice for him. It's almost like saying Lacazette, you're happy for him, And if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be secretly quite happy for him as a player.
Oh, definitely.
That he got a goal.
Yeah.
And it's like he's not going to bang in more goals than Salah. Let's be honest, or Mane. They're going to get all the headlines, but it's nice. It feels sometimes when you're an offensive player and you get the goal, you've contributed. You've
had your moment in the sunshine.
So he deserves it, and you can see how happy he is about it. So it's all good. But anyway, we're in injury time. We're up to 45 minutes, 47 minutes. We've gone over a bit of injury time. So I think we're going to wrap up there.
Yeah, been a pleasure, man. Been a pleasure.
So, international break coming up. We'll see. We may touch on the England game next week. I don't know.
After that World Cup performance.
I can't say I'm doing cartwheels over here, wanting to,
just quickly
on a drab game.
I think this Nations Cup is a good format. You've got the home and away games against like meaningful teams. We're playing. In the first segment, we're playing. Switzerland and Spain. We'll play them first home, one of them home, one of them away. Now and then I think in a couple of months we'll play them away from home or home.
I'm going to try and not be rude, but I'm so bored. 8 City players are not in the squad. Sterling's out because he's got he had an ingrown toenail on his finger something like that, so he can't go. Or an ingrown hair on his arse. He's
saying fuck England now, isn't he?
But the point is that no one cares. I remember Fergie just didn't let his players go. He goes, it's a waste of time. They've only played 4 games, now they have an international break.
Yeah. And Lallana tweaked his groin recently as well. I think he said, actually, I don't fancy this. I'm going to stay at Liverpool.
Yeah, of course. I need to work on the team.
He can't get the team.
So, don't get me wrong. I may catch it or not. I don't know if there might be something more exciting to talk about.
Personally, I'm gutted that Gomez is in the squad. If I want him in the squad, I don't want him in the squad. Do you know what I mean? He's actually doing really well for Liverpool. If he doesn't get injured out there, very likely.
But anyway, that's the whole point. It's like no one really cares about this game. So whatever happens, if they put in a good performance, we might change our mind and we'll talk about that. But we'll see what happens next week. All right.
Football DNA, baby.
All right. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week. Cool.
Well, our screen shut down on us. Is it actually been recording during that?